Hi, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Our devotion for today, December 17th, 2020, is from the book of Revelation, chapter 13, verses 11 through 18. I will read it all and then I'll comment. Chapter 13, verse 11 and following. Then I saw another beast rising out of the earth. It had two horns like a lamb, and it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence, and makes the earth and the inhabitants worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. It performs great signs, even making fire come down from heaven to earth in front of the people. And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image for the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain. Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast, or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who is understanding calculate the number of the beast, for he is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Well, now, second beast rises up, but this one comes out of the earth and not the sea, and makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, who had been mortally wounded with a sword, and yet lives. It has been able to conjure fire from heaven to come down, like the prophets of old, and it's able to do all of this when it's in proximity of the beast. It deceives the people of earth, which is not a very hard thing to do if you think about it, and convinces them to make an idol, an image of the beast who had been slain and yet now lives. Also, not a very hard thing to do. Mankind's been making false images of gods from the beginning. This does speak to a possibility of a one-world government. The image of the beast was given breath to speak. That was pretty amazing, I'm sure, to see. And it condemned those who would not worship the beast, condemned them to death. It is now that this second beast is able to require all people to wear the mark of the beast on their forehead or their right hand. The number of the beast is the number of a man, we are told. The number or mark of the beast is 666. Now we must remember, like many languages, the Jewish alphabet also stood for its numerical system, and each letter carried a certain number, corresponding number to it. And so it could write the name of someone, and those would be the letters, but attached to the letters then were the weight of numbers. And if you totaled up those numbers, you would come to the number of a man, for example. But it's a mystery to us today. We don't know what the mark of the beast will be. And we don't know for certain what it could possibly look like. We do know that some people are receiving microchips in their hands. And the microchips contain all kinds of information about them. And it's quite possible that at some point, instead of getting, credit cards and debit cards and everything, you're going to have a microchip in your hand. And so when you want to buy something, you're going to be able to put your hand to a scanner or your forehead to a scanner. And the banking information is going to be able to be there. And it's going to tell, first of all, the store owner if you have the money available to be able to buy what you're trying to purchase. Plus, it'll have all your other personal information there as well. I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't also have your medical records and any tickets that you may have received of driving or any other issue as that comes along. We're not that far away from microchips being placed in everyone's hand or on their forehead. Will the mark come to us in a microchip form? That's what we might want to consider. Will it be something else? Perhaps a tattoo. Will we have a choice to not comply? Doesn't sound like it, does it? With the vaccines now out for COVID-19, will anyone really have the right to refuse to get a vaccine? Or will the pressure be too great? Will it be outlawed to not comply? And what would be the retaliation if we're allowed to, for example, refuse to get the vaccine? What would the retaliation be to decide against getting it? If we decide that we're not going to get it, or the mark of the beast, or we just don't happen to show up to get that mark, what'll be the consequences? Will we be able to purchase anything, buy and sell? Will we be able to do any of that? I think we're close to the time of the mark of the beast, but I don't believe we're quite there yet. Still, we must be on our guard for its coming, because it'll come sooner than we realize. It'll suddenly be here. We must endure and worship the Lord only. We must resist whatever that mark of the beast would be, whether it's a chip or a tattoo or something else. The beast will only reign for 42 months. It'll only reign for 3.5 years. We must endure in our hope and in our faith. Go in peace, serve the Lord.